So Nick, here at the North American World Championship qualifier in Raleigh, you just got top 32. What did you play and how was your experience?
I played Purrely, and overall it was a good experience. Here's the prize card for us to bring that out. I enjoy the Purrely deck a lot. So I have a quick story. Last year at not the NAWCQ, whatever the equivalent last year was, they didn't send people to Worlds. I played Dry Try. It was not a great deck, and I was on the fence with things like Mystic Mine, I think the best card. My issue with that tournament was I kept breaking and I kept losing because I couldn't play. So this tournament, I really, really wanted something that I could just play every round. It didn't have to be super broken, I just wanted to play. I started picking a deck about a month before YCS Philly. I live about 10 minutes outside of Philly. And I chose Purrely. So I chose like Delicious, all that stuff. I really put a lot of time and effort into learning that. I played a lot of the small guys early, so not necessarily Plump Noir, but more so like Beauty Trap Card, Book of Moon, stuff like that. I ended up making top 32 at YCS Philly, but I lost in top 32 to Jesse Cotton. He shifted me game 1 and 2. It wasn't even close. So fast forward to here, Delicious is at 1. I ended up putting a few cards to supplement in, like Pot of Prosperity, and I'll show you some cool combos that I kind of like picked up along the way too.
Insane. Awesome. Do you have any shout outs you'd like to give before the video?
Yeah, shout outs to Phenomenal Games in 100 North Lindenwold, New Jersey. David Barnes is the owner. That's a local store I go to. Everyone should go to locals more, support your local OTS. Team War Council first and foremost, and I think that's all.
Insane. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. See what you played.
Sure. I'll show you the monsters. It's 3 Black Cat, 3 White Cat. I'll show you all the engine, because it's all the same stuff for everybody. 3 Happy, 3 My Friend, 3 Sleepy, 3 Pretty, 1 Delicious, and then these are the only weird cards. It's 2 Field Spell and 2 Trap Card. I'll talk real quick just about these, unless you have questions about any of that stuff. Trap Card's really, really good. When you go first, if your hand's really bad, what you can end up doing for the most part is if you get a Black Cat from My Friend, you search for a Sleepy Memory and you make whatever Xyz you want. Field Spell gives the Xyz a second Sleepy Memory, and then on your opponent's standby phase, you draw 2, and then you rank up to a Soft Noir and draw another 2. It's not bad for kind of bricking and stuff, but the reason why this is so good is when you play for a long time, you run out of cats, and when you run out of cats, you can't really make Xyz and stuff like that too. So having this in your deck as a quote-unquote discard engine or stuff like that is really, really valuable. Street is really strong. It's 2 matchups specifically. It's good against the Purrely Mirror Match, it's good against Kashtira, and sometimes it's really good against Dragon Link. And the reason why is when you play this card first, and then you play a quick play spell to special a cat, they can't interact with the cat yet. They have to interact with this first. So hypothetically, say your opponent has a 7 material Noir, you play this down, they're not going to just spin that away because that's a bad trade. You special a cat out, now it starts to threaten the Noir kind of like very quickly. You can make a Beauty, that way hypothetically they finally want to threaten your cat. They spin this, then they target the Beauty, but you have a Beauty chain. Yes, they're going to spin it again, but what happens then is you traded for a hard Noir you couldn't break with like engine cards, which is like very strong. Same concept with Arise Heart. Arise Heart can't target your cat, and then your cat can go into, again, a Beauty or something like that. Fenrir can't target your cats either. So I really, really enjoyed Field Spell. Some matchups it was really bad in, but like overall, great card, especially with the turn 1 combo I was telling you about with the double draws. And then the rest of the cards are non-engine. So for my hand traps, I only played 6. It was 3 Ash, 3 Imperm, and the rest were just power spells. It was Harpy's Feather Duster, Triple Pot, Triple Dark Ruler, 1 Thrust, 2 Tactics, and then 2 Book of Moon. All right, I'm gonna be honest. I didn't think I'd do well enough to explain my ratios. So that's why I have funky numbers like this stuff in. Book was amazing all tournament. I did lose in top 32 because I Pot of Prosperity after I made a Noir, and I grabbed Book, so I had Book Prosperity. No, I had Book Noir against Kashtira. And when they summoned Unicorn, I booked, they chained Lance, and then the duels shortly over afterward, I ended up losing. Book was amazing though. It was really good offensive and defensively. Very similar to the same vein of the Field Spell. Sometimes when you bring out Black Cat and you need the card you need a My Friend to search, and they imperm your Black Cat, it's a really bad feeling, but you can chain your Book on the Black Cat to search for the My Friend to guarantee you play. Book was really good. That was the main deck.
What was the best out of the non-engine?
The best out of the non-engine, honestly the best card in this deck is Pot of Prosperity. I'll explain that. That's a good idea. Because I'll go straight into my extra deck and explain Prosperity too. That kind of covers both. Because that's a weird thing to I banish 6 every time with Prosperity, and the reason is to dig for anything. Going first, you dig for floodgates, cards to play. Going second, you can dig for board breakers, anything. I side floodgates too, so this is really, really helpful. And then sometimes this hits delicious, and then you make the old school hard Noir. Let me show you the extra deck real quick, and then I'll show you what cards I banished too. So I play Relinquish Enema, Azalea, Downer Magician, the Lyralist, the Princess Sprout, 2 Zeus, and the rest are Purrely cards. 2 Noir, 2 Happy, 2 Beauty, and then 2 Plump. This tournament, the doubles for these came up. The second one came up 1 game. And what I do with Prosperity is when I go first, typically it's cards amongst here, like something around here gets banished, typically 1 Zeus, and then like say the remainder of these or one of these go. If you don't, like if you go first, you know you're not gonna make a second Happiness that game. You just grind a different way. You can banish one of these, and typically that's fine. The reason why trap cards so important in this version is say you banish like your 6 cards or whatever, right? The rest of the game, you really don't have much to go on, so your trap cards shuffling back these continually to kind of keep playing. So sometimes trap card shuffle backs like 1 Black Cat, 1 Beauty, 1 Noir, or like 2 Black Cats or something like that.
Okay.
Prosperity was really good because you dug for whatever you want, and then the trap card kept you in the loop, if that makes sense. I'll show you some cool combos too, quickly. I guess I'll show the deck first, and then we'll do that, yeah. It's a side deck. I played 1 Turikara, 4 Bystios, 3 Magnamoot, and a Juris Worm, 3 Drone Lockbird, 2 Cosmic, and 5 Floodgates, 3 Grave, and 2 Summon Limit. Again, I didn't think I'd do well enough to explain my ratios. What I wanted was, I was scared of Branded. Branded's a really tough matchup. So against Branded, I side 7 cards going first and second. I don't want to get puppet locked, I don't want to get any of that stuff. So even though they puppet you, you can kind of flip this in like the second turn and you're fine. Something I made a mistake on is I should have sided more cards for Kashtira going second. I wish I'd played just like 3 Kurikara or something like that. In the past, I sided this card in against everything going first, and this card is really good. Even if you go Beauty, My Friend, Summon Limit, or Beauty, My Friend, like Book of Moon, any of those cards, it pairs really well. Your goal is not to make an oppressive board to win, but more so make a board that's tough enough to where you don't die, and then you can kind of manipulate how your My Friend triggers, your Field Spell triggers. Like for this on board, they can't Zeus you. So that's a great card about cards like this, and then Book of Moon, and your aim to kind of like resolve the things. Questions about the side deck or anything like that?
What was the best card for you?
The best card honestly was Droll and Lockbird. Droll and Lockbird in the use. It was really good against all the dragon matchups I played. I played against a Manadium, and this was really, really strong too.
Insane. I know you said you had a few combos with the deck that you wanted to show the players who may have not seen what the deck can do.
So everybody knows the Happy kill. I'll go with it really, really quickly. So if you have a Happy, typically there's either black or white cat underneath. And then let's do these. So when you have, this is how typically a Happy looks. During scenarios where you can't go for game, but you still have to make a Happy to attack, you would make a big Noir. But when I was testing and stuff, there's some cool Noir lines that you can kind of do. For example, this Happy right here has 2 attacks, and if the attacks connect, they all search a card each. So you have 2 searches. And the thing is, it has a maximum activate quick play spell to attach 3 times. So you want that the first attack will search for a second Happy. So now it has 2 more attacks, and then the last 2 attacks search for a double Pretty Memory, as opposed to typically your Delicious. The reason why you go for Pretty Memory, your opponent will gain life points and all that stuff and whatnot, but now your Happy has 2 Tribute and Suck effects. So for example, you set this card and say you have like a monster, you can tribute this to take this as a material. So to show that these are 2 materials off of Tribute Suck, all of a sudden you have a huge 2, 4, 6, 7 material, and then on top of this, you just make a Noir. So now Noir gains the effects of these 2. So now Noir has 2 more Tribute and then kind of like attach. Something you kind of do with this, and the reason why you would want like a 10 material Noir, it's not as excessive as it seems, is say on the follow-up turn, or you lose a die roll going first, and you have to break the board. You play Dark Ruler, play any of those cards, you attack with a low commitment Happy, which is made off of just kind of 1 card. Like for example, Black Cat searches my friend grabs 3 of these, and 3 of these make into a Happy right away. Obviously unresolved. Or like a White Cat kind of with this just kind of does this as well. You're getting a lot for very, very little. and then you're trading your cards like My Friend, Field Spell, if needed, so you don't have liabilities. So for example, if they go and make a Zeus and clear everything, you lost your My Friend and whatever anyway, you keep your Noir, but in this case, you can kind of just trade it all to make a Noir, and you're not threatened to field and use the material, like use the effect. Sometimes you make this, other decks, no weapon they forge will prosper against this guy. He just sits there forever. Like Branded really doesn't have much except for Titaniclad, which really needs a lot to kind of beat over, especially when that's a Delicious. But that's kind of like the happy to get maximum, the biggest Noir possible, if that makes sense.
Of course, of course.
One more cool combo is if this card crashes into another monster, it still searches. So hypothetically, your opponent has like a Blue Eyes White Dragon, like a whatever like this is, and the first happy, obviously they have like happy spells underneath. If they attack, this card activates before it goes to the graveyard in damage step. So if my bad, for me just jumping all over the place. So if you have a My Friend up, and then both of these have that, and then this will search this. So this is what your board is. Each one of these has a little cat underneath, and then this is in your deck. If you go to battle phase and you attack into like a Blue Eyes, when this attacks, this searches. How they ruled it here was because this is in the graveyard, it won't be able to have, unfortunately, or whatever. So it goes to grave. My Friend will trigger to add this back to hand, and then this search this. So now you have the kill combo off of just the happy searching in battle phase, and you search, and now you have the full combo to win.
That's insane.
Yeah.
How many times did this come up for you today?
That only came up a few times. I did a cool play though. If you want to, other things. So here's another cool play. If your opponent had a Branded Beast, like the trap card that tributes Abyssal, and I had a happy on board with like, I think it was a non-happy memory though. My opponent goes Tribute with Beast to target my Friend. I go chain any quick play spell, and then chain Happy to attach, and then Happy bounces the Branded Beast to hand, so it doesn't resolve either, which was great. Yeah, that was really, really cool. So there's a lot of cool tricks you could do with the deck that I think that's the reason why I did well. The deck itself is good, but once you start playing in a sequence where your opponent doesn't really understand what's going on, it's very, very advantageous. Like if first action is your opponent makes a big board and you summon White Cat, effect activate 3, it's a scary thing because if they respond to it, they could have tactics, they got this, they got that, and so on. I think that's enough rambling for. Do you have any questions or anything like that?
I know you said that the deck is very player predicated. You can outplay a lot of people. I know this deck has a few more support cards coming up. Is this still something you're considering moving forward?
This deck, I don't know why. People just don't play this deck. At least in my area, nobody plays Purrely. Like very, very few people play it. And I think it's a really good deck. It's a very battle emphasis deck. It's a deck where you win in the battle phase, which is a weird sentence to say. Some decks, like you combo, you win in the main phase, but it just ends in the battle phase or whatever. Purrely is a deck that you kind of win in the battle phase. You have to search, do all your things. Sometimes you crash, get a My Friend, and the field spell back. Having Sleepy Memory, this card's broken. This card's like, should not be like, okay. It's okay right now, but once the guy that comes out that corresponds with it, then it becomes broken, and I don't really like that, if that makes sense. I really like where the deck is right now, and even during the YCS Philly format, that was good too with Triple Delicious. I think the deck's fine. I wouldn't like it to be so oppressive that people start hating it and it's going to get banned or something like that too.
Yeah, no, of course. Again, we already saw it get hit, but again, I know you've got a few more events coming up. Did you have any final remarks?
No, that's all. I'm glad I was able to do so well. This is my 10th Konami top overall, my 5 NAWCQs and 5 YCSs. So I'm excited about that. Other than that, that's it.
Insane. Thank you again for the profile. We look forward to seeing more from you.
Thank you.